Hi, everybody. I am Mike Pressler. I'm the principal at Maine East High School. Very, very proud and feel honored to get to do that work, and absolutely love our school. And I really miss being in our school with all of our students. Miss seeing all of you. Uh, Even kind of miss a little bit, maybe even hassling kids for being in the hallways or being a little bit late to class. That all seems like it's a pretty good life right now. So hopefully we are going to be back there sooner than later. But in the meantime, I know there have been a lot of questions. We started e-learning yesterday, so I want to answer some of those and just sort of give you some other updates, at least as we know them right now. Um, Hello to everybody who's signing in. It's great to see you. First and foremost, I am confident that I think I can say pretty safely for all of the faculty and staff at Maine East, we miss you guys, students. Just seems like it's been a long, long, long time since we were all in school together. We miss you. We really hope that everybody is managing to survive and to thrive through all this. Hopefully, people are still got their health, and if not, you're got people you're able to take care of. And if you're having to take care of some others, thank you for that, and do what you need to do to take care of your loved ones, make sure that your families are well cared for. I also really want to encourage everybody. Probably, I was going to say this probably several times through this live stream. I really, really want to encourage everybody to make sure you're practicing social distancing. Do everything you can to make sure that you stay healthy. In terms of not coming down with COVID-19 or anything else for that matter. Wash your hands many, many, many times daily. Again, that soap and water is the very best thing, as I understand the science behind it. I'm not really a science guy, but the soap and water does a lot to break down sort of the fatty component of the virus, so that it basically destroys it. It can't survive. It can't do the damage. So again, wash those hands early and often, and take good care. By the same token, I really hope that everybody's getting some time for some self care. So, weather permitting, if you can get outside and get some fresh air, again, just making sure that you maintain that 6 or more foot distance to anybody else. But get outside, go for a little walk. Just be super careful if you're going to touch anything that somebody else may have touched. And even that's okay. Just have to remember not to inadvertently touch your face or do something. But hopefully, you're getting out and you're getting some fresh air, especially as the weather is going to get a little nicer in the next few days and weeks. That's going to do a lot just for health and general mood as well. So again, be be doing everything you can to be well so that you can do well these next few days. So again, really, really miss everybody, and not only that, I miss the staff. Be very happy when we're all back together again at Maine East on a daily basis. So the big announcement right now that probably you have heard is that Governor Pritzker, on his daily press conference this afternoon, did announce that Illinois will remain under shelter in place through the 30th of April. So I've had a few questions based on changing deadlines about when might we come back to school. Well, this means definitely we are out of school through the 30th of April, and beyond that, we don't know a lot more about kind of what's going to happen with school, and I'll talk about that in just a little bit as I sort of go through my notes. So we got guidance from the state of Illinois, from the Illinois State Board of Education, what we call ISB. So probably I'm going to say ISB. It means Illinois State Board of Ed. Put out information regarding just everything to do with schools in this new era of remote learning. We've been using the term e-learning a lot at 207. And remote learning is, I think, what most people are using. We'll probably sort of pivot to as well, but they mean the same thing. So we got that guidance on Friday night, and administrative team in all of our buildings and district office spent Saturday and Sunday going through it, figuring it out, ask questions. Many of us were on virtual meetings with the state board of ed um, on Sunday morning, and then we spent pretty much the entire afternoon together, digitally, virtually, working through what e-learning was going to look like. As you know, the e-learning started yesterday on Monday, very first day, and today was our second day, blue day, white day. So hopefully today was a little easier than yesterday, and I'm sure it's going to get easier and better for everybody, for students and for teachers, and all staff involved, as we get used to this. Um, right now, if you go to the school website, you're going to see the e-learning schedule, and you're going to notice that we moved the start time, so that we start now Monday through Thursday at 10 o'clock in the morning. And we run a sort of a modified, a very simplified block schedule, so that on the blue day, on Monday and Wednesday, we meet periods 1, 3, 5, and 7. And then on Tuesday and Thursday, on the white day, we go periods 2, 4, 6, and 8, so that we're done around 2. Now, even though we've got those block periods, I'm guessing that many of you will not spend much time really, online with your teachers. It might be initially in these last couple of days, they've asked you to sign in for a Zoom meeting or a Google Meet, just to kind of see everybody and say hello and, reestablish, kind of check back in again. But really, teachers can assign things. Many of you probably have already had teachers who have given you some things to work with that are asynchronous. What we mean by that is you can do that on your own time. It's not like the regular school schedule when we all come in and we're in first period together and you're going to be there for 48 minutes and we pretty much do the same thing. This is really sort of like blended learning on steroids, I guess is the way I describe it. Um, so it could be that a teacher wants to meet with you for a portion of that dedicated time. The reason we've got the block is that's a time when the teacher is definitely going to be available for you. If you're checking back in and you need some help, you need to ask some questions, you can depend on being able to find that teacher at that scheduled block time on those 4 days. Um, so again, some of them might do a little check-in, may do a little lecture. Some of them may actually tape a lecture and share it out so that you can watch it on your own and then come back and check for understanding. They may ask a few of you to come in for a small group sort of a thing. So again, teachers have a lot of flexibility about how they are going to meet your needs and sort of engage you in continuing to learn and grow from now through the end of the year. Sorry, just got a little alert there that probably everybody in the area is getting right now. Um, so again, as I say, the asynchronous, even though we've got the schedule, unless the teacher says, "Want you to log in, I'd like to meet with you," you're going to have the ability to manage your time. So it's really, really super important for you, if you haven't already sort of gotten into a routine, start thinking about establishing, just kind of a regular schedule for yourself. You've got the ability to sleep in now, at least a lot later than you would in a regular school day. But think about those routines. The other thing that we're going to continue to just repeat again and again is, if you're not already there, get in the habit of checking your school email at least twice a day, beginning of the day, toward the end of the day. I know email is not where a lot of our students kind of live and communicate, but email is really going to be the primary means that you're going to be able to keep up in school. By the same token, I'm sure most of you have probably just gotten almost buried in email messages and things these last 2 days as teachers are reaching out. Maybe your counselors are checking in on you. Don't get discouraged. It can be a lot, but don't give up and don't get discouraged. You'll be able to work your way through it, and I think that email will soon sort of start to dwindle and subside a little bit. So stick with it, stay strong, because the email is really going to be important in terms of how various of us adults in the building are going to check in. So we just want to make sure everybody is safe, that you're in good shape, that we're able to assist you in any way that we possibly can. Some of you are asking questions about testing. I'm going to get to that in just a little bit. So teachers are probably communicating with you via email. Some of them may be calling you, and there could be a couple things that are happening. You might get a phone call from somebody, and it's going to be a *67, which is unidentified, which we advise our staff to do if they're using their private phones. But the other thing is we've now got a call masking service from Call One. So teachers are now able to go through. It'll register, should register, I believe, as a Maine Township High School District phone number. Mr. Clark, if you can, if you're hearing me and can tell us a little bit about what they'll see. But we're going to continue to tell teachers to communicate expectations with parents and for students for what classes look like. Parents, some of you have asked about, well, how do I know what my kids are doing and what's expected of them? You can always reach out to a teacher. And because so many of our teachers use Google Classroom as a platform where students can find the notes, it helps organize for them, it pushes information out. Parents can also be added as parent or guardians, so you kind of have an ability to know what's going on there. So again, I think if you ask teachers, most of them will be happy to have you become a part of the class. Again, we ask you just be respectful of the teacher's time, but helps give you a little better idea about what the expectations are for your students and work in the class. Right now, teachers are still figuring out. I think teachers have been doing an amazing job adapting very quickly to remote learning. And I think they're getting a better handle on what classes are going to look like. A lot of people are asking, what does assessment look like? And we're working on that. We just went through sort of a draft document today, going to be presenting that, working with teachers, and we should be communicating information just about sort of what we know right now based on what the Illinois State Board of Education has directed schools to do. Be able to tell you a little bit more about what assessment looked like, what school looks like, what your classes are going to be, what you're required to do, those sorts of things. So again, I'm going to ask you to stay tuned, check your email. In these next couple of days, there's going to be some information coming out that should give you all quite a bit of information. Terms of grading info. So a lot of you may have heard the state's guiding principle is what they refer to as do no harm. So what that means is effective, in our case, March 16th, it's kind of like we take a snapshot in time, and that's where we freeze, where students are in terms of grades. I'm not going to get into too much detail right now because there's a lot of very fine detail. It frankly would be very confusing for me to try to just explain it to you without some context, but there will be more information coming in written form, and we'll be able to follow up and explain to you in the next few days. But what that means in terms of do no harm is grades aren't going to go down. You're going to have the opportunity to work moving forward from this point forward to remain engaged in class as your teacher guides you to do, and to continue to learn, to continue to become enriched and build your skills so that you can continue to earn a grade going through. But we say do no harm because there could be circumstances that prevent students from being able to do school. We know right now there are some students that still don't have internet connectivity or Wi-Fi. So again, if that's the case, if you know of somebody, they're probably not watching this live stream and they're not likely to look at the recording we post. But if you know of somebody, reach out, let your teachers know, let your counselor know, let me know. And we've got the ability, we have some hotspots so that they're going to be able to get Wi-Fi and get reconnected. So again, look out for each other, and let us know if there's somebody that is not able to stay connected. But it could be that, it could be a lot of family circumstances. We've got many of our students that may be helping watch little brothers and sisters. They may be working to help support the family, that sort of thing. So, again, that's the reason we want to be really flexible about when you can do the work and how you can ask for help. But we want you to stay involved and engaged. If something comes up genuinely and it's just, that you're going to miss that video session the teacher had you come in, then be responsible ahead of time. Let the teacher know you've got a conflict, and kind of check and see what you can do so that hopefully you'll be able to keep up with things. If you just feel like you're falling behind, that's a time when we really, really, really want you to reach out to your counselor, to your case coordinator, social worker, any other trusted adult in the building. Let us know what's up so we know where you are. Maybe we can offer some assistance. But again, we don't want to place even additional pressure on you in those circumstances. Now, that being said, some of you are fortunate and you've maybe getting a little bit bored at home right now. So I'm really going to encourage you strongly to get off the video games right now and engage with your teachers and take advantage of what they're going to put out there for you in terms of continuing to learn and grow so that you are in the very best shape you possibly can be educationally when we end the school year, whenever that may be. So that means for seniors, we want you to have all of your credits and we want you to be able to get your diploma. We want you to graduate. And I'll talk about that in a little while as well. This is a great time. If you were not passing a class, hopefully you've already reached out to a teacher, they've contacted you, and we've started to build a plan for what you can do to earn that credit for graduation. For other students, the 9th, 10th, and 11th graders are going to be coming back. We want you to be in the very best shape you can when we start school again, if not this spring, in the fall, so that we're ready to hit the ground running and we don't have to take a lot of time kind of making up. So, again, take advantage every day that you are possibly able to work with your teachers, try to do the work that you need to do. If you're stuck, you need some help, reach out to your teachers. We've got teaching assistants available, and we'll be communicating in the next few days how you can get additional assistance like you would have if you were going to guided study, or if you were up in the academic learning center, or any of the various places that you would be seeking assistance. Also, I really encourage you to reach out to each other. Many of you, you're bright, you're smart kids, you do a great job. So don't hesitate necessarily, if you're stuck a little bit, to reach out to classmates and see if you can figure it out. Then maybe double check, make sure we're on the right path with the teacher. But be resourceful and be proactive and take responsibility for your learning as we work through this. It's far from ideal, and it's not the way any of us would have imagined the second semester rolling out. But we've got many resources that we can take advantage of as we work through. So that being said, we're focusing on all students, particularly on those that were not passing classes. We do want to see if we can get some work in to ensure that you've mastered certain concepts and knowledge and can make sure that you've got that credit. Excuse me, I'm sorry. So as we know right now, we are out through the 30th of April. There are some scenarios that we might be out, indefinitely. They may possibly, at a state, end up that we would call the school year. That decision has not been made. And when and if it is, then we'll communicate. And again, we'll formulate a plan and we will communicate that with everybody. But in the meantime, really, again, I want everybody, please stay engaged in school. We want to see your bright, smiling face every day that you're supposed to be in for some work. And, don't hesitate to check in. So I think, again, the teachers have been doing an amazing job. Just no doubt about it. So proud of the work they're doing. They really are, I think, providing great leadership for each other as they are learning from one another. And, we have a lot of districts outside 207 that are looking to us and it's helping them be successful as well. So a lot of your teachers are using Zoom. A lot of your teachers are using Google Meet. Those are great formats. They're both similar. They've got some things that are a little bit unique. Um, I think they've been doing an amazing job in terms of being innovative with that. I am going to please remind all students, and I'm going to respectfully request, remember our code, especially that we're going to be respectful and we're going to be responsible in our use of that digital technology, so that you're contributing in a positive way to what the class and the teacher is doing, and you're supporting each other. Um, so again, the technology is a wonderful resource. Use it wisely and responsibly, please. Um, Again, if you need additional help, you can always set up an appointment with your teachers. They've got some time at the beginning and the end of the day, usually. Again, sometimes I want to make sure that I'm clear. A lot of our teachers, as they are teaching from their homes, are also working super hard to juggle their family responsibilities because they may have one or two or three or five students of their own that are getting classwork from their teachers in their schools if they don't live in our district. And so they're trying to find their way in balancing life as well. So I think all of us need to be a little bit patient with each other and assume good intent and show each other a little grace as we're working through to help be successful. That being said, if you need some help, you can send a little an email or a G chat and try to schedule an appointment with a teacher. If you do that, please be responsible and show up at the time so that you're not um, sort of disrespecting the teacher's time. So again, if you make it, great. Something comes up, let them know ahead of time so that they can reschedule and make good use of their time. And don't hesitate if there are two or three of you, and if you want to do sort of a group appointment, I think teachers would be very willing to do that as well. We're going to have teaching assistants that have already reached out to many of you, and some of them are going to be available to help you as well. And the thing about our schedule, I've talked about the block days on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Fridays are sort of office hours days all day long. And we've left that so that there's great flexibility for both you and your teachers to try to connect with one another if you need to for some additional help, maybe to get caught up if something came up in your family lives and you missed out on a session, a Zoom session or something with your teachers. So again, do everything you can to try to keep up in time as teachers are presenting, but we've got time built in for you to get help and to be successful in school. Just checking my notes. Teachers are going to have more information about TAs, about the various academic supports, and they're going to be sharing that with you as well. But again, if you have questions, you can always reach out to your department chair, to your teachers, to our department chairs, or to any of us administratively in the building. For students who have an IEP, you, I think, probably will have been in contact already with your case managers, and they're working really hard to try to make sure that you have access to all of the supports that you need. Um, we're doing everything we can to check up and to make sure that teachers are making modifications we can for e-learning. Parents or students, if you see something there, ask the teacher, reach out to your case manager, and we'll do everything we need to do to provide you the level of service and education that you are entitled to. Right now, I know also there are going to be some IEP meetings that were scheduled at Maine East. We're working, if parents are in agreement, we are working to hold those virtually. So again, the special education department has been in touch with families in that regard. If you have any questions, again, you can reach out to your case manager, teachers, or to our department chairperson, Ms. Powell. The just reading. Same thing. A few of you may have 504 accommodations. Some accommodations like breaks and preferential seating, things like that, don't really apply in remote learning, but there might be some others specifically that do. So if you're not sure and you have questions about that, probably the best first contact for you is your school counselor. Um, so that they're able to maybe give you some assistance or get some more information for you. It's a big question that I have heard and the other principals have heard as well. That's like, well, is remote learning, e-learning optional? And there's a real simple answer: no, it is not optional. Um, going to school is still the law in the state of Illinois. So again, there may be some things that we have to get past in terms of challenges, but you are expected to, by us, by your parents, and by the state of Illinois, to attend school via remote learning. Um, you need to do the work to the best of your abilities. There's a motto that one of our organizations at Maine East uses, and that's personal best. And that's really all any of us can ask you every day, is that you engage, you're there, and you do your personal best. Try to figure out what you do when you get stuck to get unstuck. We all get stuck sometimes. We all need some help. But again, if you just come in and do your personal best, again, that's the kind of grace and good intent that I referred to a little bit earlier. We really want you to use that time during the day to work on school. So again, build that routine, build that schedule, and save that daytime hour, Monday through Thursday and Friday if necessary, to make sure that you're surviving and thriving in your schoolwork, and then schedule the gaming, whatever you may be doing, for sort of hang time outside those hours. The Career and College Resource Center is still open virtually to everyone, especially for seniors and juniors. This is a great time. You could schedule a virtual appointment if you haven't already, or if it's ongoing, to talk about future careers with Ms. Mousset. I think she's already posted some things. Saw something from Ms. Mousset and Mr. Weber just on Instagram a little while ago this afternoon. So you can talk about careers with Ms. Mousset, and college options, things like that, with Mr. Weber. You can go to the CCRC page to contact them if you don't already have that information yourself. And another thing that comes up is a lot of parents, a lot of students are worried about what happens at the end of the year, what's going to happen with grades, so on and so forth. Colleges are figuring this out also. We are not alone in this in District 207. Virtually every other school in the nation, certainly in Illinois, but at this point, most of the schools in the nation are in the same situation that we are. And colleges and universities are going to absolutely need to work with that. They depend on students coming and enrolling in their institutions every year. And they're going to depend on a lot of our fantastic Maine East students to be coming in and gaining admission to their colleges. So don't get too stressed out about that. Stay in touch. Again, check your email, stay tuned. And if you work with us, we're going to make sure you are in great shape for your next step after graduation. Okay. A few other nuts and bolts. I'll try to, been talking a lot. I'll try to talk a little less, a little faster here. Constitution test is waived according to state of Illinois guidelines and laws. If any other mandated requirements for graduation are waived, we'll keep you posted. Many of you have asked about the SAT that was supposed to be on the 14th of April for state testing. That SAT has been canceled for this spring. The federal government granted the waiver to the Illinois State Board of Ed, so that College Board is now telling schools that tentatively the June dates for SAT, if you were going to pay and sit to take the exam, are still on. However, I think, they're going to play it by ear, and it could be that those June dates will be canceled and pushed back a little bit later. We think there's a very good chance that the fall is probably going to have the state SAT test. So again, the biggest thing I can advise you to do is keep on studying in your classes as if you were going to be taking the SAT. The benefit for you is you have even more time to prepare, to be even more successful, to get an even better score on the SAT. You've got a lot of online resources. If you're not sure where to find those, your counselors, a lot of your teachers, the CCRC staff would be able to help plug you into that as well. But again, SAT is not going to happen this spring, probably in the fall. We know that a lot of our students depend on that SAT, which they don't have to pay for. And again, I think there's a better than not chance that it's going to happen in the fall. We'll let you know as we have more information. Oh gosh. SAT information is supposed to come out in early April for what they're doing. As soon as we have something, we'll share that with students. AP exams. A lot of people have been asking about that. So we pretty much get our information right from College Board, which is sort of the corporation that um, is responsible for advanced placement and for SAT. So the College Board has shared out information. It looks like, from our understanding, the AP exams are going to be online and they're going to be about 45 minutes long. And what they've done is sort of determined where AP classes would have been on or about the 1st of March in terms of the content and the skill. They're working to modify those exams. My understanding is that the AP exams will also be largely like a free response as opposed to like a choice format or something like that. So, more on that. There'll be more information coming. There's also there are a lot of YouTube channels for each test, and you can view those. I think on April 3rd, we're supposed to get quite a lot of information regarding the format of the tests and that sort of thing. So, again, if you have any questions about that information, feel free to reach out to your counselor, and they should be able to get you set up there. For payment, a lot of you worried because you hadn't paid for AP yet. So at this point, not a problem if you haven't. Don't worry about it. We'll figure that out. We're trying to determine what our online options are for payment, but don't worry. There's going to be a test for you to take, even if you haven't paid yet, and we will figure that out and we'll communicate that as soon as we have a firm plan in place. Chromebooks and technology requests. So, what happens if your Chromebook breaks? Or something happens, you can go into the school webpage and you'll find the link for the Maine East Chrome Depot. You can make a request there for whatever you need, and provided we've got the equipment, and right now we're still in good shape. You can make a request, and they'll schedule a time, probably on a Tuesday or a Thursday morning when we're doing the meal pickups at school, to stop by and pick up whatever it is you need. It would be a trade. So if your Chromebook broke, you're going to bring yours in, we'll swap it out, cord, that sort of thing. So it'll also be a time, again, if you know students that need hotspots, we've still got some available so that you've got that Wi-Fi access, so that you're connected, and hopefully so you're not burning through your data plan on your phones or your family's plans, that sort of thing. Lot of questions about spring sports. So we don't know right now for sure in terms of spring sports. At this point, the IHSA, the Illinois High School Association, is exploring, some options in terms of some league things that might possibly start later in the spring and extend into June. Again, all of this is based on CDC, the Centers for Disease Control guidelines about social gatherings. And again, all of these things at the very base of all of this is trying to make sure that all of you, all of us, are as safe as we can be health wise in terms of not being exposed to the COVID-19 virus. So nothing firm yet on IHSA, and as soon as we know everything, I believe you me, we will be communicating that out. Um, Again, this is just not the way any of us would have imagined the spring playing out. I know, especially for athletes, especially senior athletes, who have been doing fantastic work for these last 3 years. Kind of got this, as the saying goes, you got the rug pulled out from under you. I don't know what we'll be able to do, but we're going to do everything we can to make the situation as good as it can be. Question about an Oakton placement test on April 12th. I am not sure where we are. We'll find out about that in terms of Oakton. We'll communicate out, but I am guessing if that was a test that was supposed to be done in real time, I don't think there's any way they can do it based on the shelter in place direction that we got today from the governor. So I'm sure Oakton will be talking and they'll set up an alternative for you to do the placement tests. Um, so that kind of takes us to all events. Right now, really all events as we know them are on hold. There's a communication that I don't think has gone out yet, but it very well may later today. I saw the draft a little bit earlier. For us at Maine East, we have officially canceled the senior breakfast that was supposed to have taken place on the 14th coming up here. Obviously, we're still sheltering in place. We held out as long as we could. But again, based on our first priority to make sure that everybody is safe in terms of not exposing to anything health wise and to practice social distancing. We also had low enrollment, but that wasn't a surprise because we've been out of school for several weeks. But that particular event has been planned. Highly unlikely that we would reschedule the senior breakfast just based on when Ramadan is going to be starting and where that extends from April into May. But I'll talk a little bit more about sort of the end of the year events in a bit. But right now, everything is on hold. We are trying to consider what is canceled on a uniform basis across the district so that all three high schools are moving in a similar fashion so that we are providing some equity for all of our students across the district on those decisions. Many of you hopefully are aware of the request for donations to support a fund to help families in need. We also so that could support students and their families, and potentially some of our support staff members who may have some pretty extreme family situations. Right now, I know as of a couple of days ago, we had topped $13,000, and I suspect we've exceeded that by now. Mr. Clark might have a tally for us there. I know that we have also we're in the process of delivering some meal cards. First $5,000 in some financial relief is being provided to families that have been identified by our student services departments, by our counselors, as they've kind of know situations. We know there's a lot of need, and I really encourage everybody to give early and give often if you're able, to the extent you can. We know that there's a lot of need, and the future is maybe a little uncertain, but a lot of our neighbors and friends really need this, and I encourage you to support it. Um, I saw something again on Instagram. One of the staff members at Maine West said, she's thinking about all the gas she's saving not commuting every day and figuring out what that is and donating. I think that's a fantastic way to look at it from a staff member's standpoint. But again, if you know anybody anywhere, think about our alums, people around who are able to afford it. Every bit of assistance that we can give now and moving forward for the foreseeable future would be so greatly appreciated and really make a difference in lives of families. Um, the Some questions again, like NHS and other end of the year things. Again, everything is on hold, and as soon as we know something definite, we'll let you know. I think the thing that I just generally can say about end of the year, especially people have asked about prom and about graduation. But again, it's all those things that are so important that you look forward to as sort of a rite of passage, particularly for seniors, but for all of us as we close the school year out. We've been working hard. We've grown, we've gotten smarter, we've become more skilled as athletes, as performers, just better as human beings, and we celebrate at the end of the year. So we don't know yet what is going to happen in terms of, um, you know, will somebody at the state make a decision? We're done with school, maybe, and we'll determine what that looks like. Until then, we're going to continue to work with everybody to help you grow and to learn about prom and about graduation. We don't have an answer for either one. If we think about prom and the hundreds of students that attend, That's that is not in not consistent with social distancing norms. So, I would say right now for prom, if you haven't gone out to buy the dress or rent the tux or rent the limo or whatever else you do for prom, I wouldn't spend that money right now. If we are fortunate somehow to be able to do that, you're going to have time and you'll be able to plan. But right now, I'd put that plan on hold just to save yourself some money. I know that's not what anybody wants to hear, but that's kind of where we are right now. I think for graduation, again, those are gatherings that include thousands of people, and we know it's really important. Seniors, you are working your tails off to make that happen, and your families, for your parents. Sometimes I think it's probably more important for your parents than it is even for you, because of everything that they do, because they're proud of you and they love you. Um, so, I don't know if we're going to be able to graduate on May 17th. But I can tell you that I, along with the other two principals, Dr. Collins at South and Dr. McMahon at West, and with our district leadership, Dr. Wallace, everybody else, we understand how important that is. And if we need to consider rolling something back and trying to figure out how to do some sort of a commencement graduation exercise in the summer, we'll absolutely visit that. Again, the bottom line is going to be keeping everybody safe and helping you plan. We know for our families to attend a graduation, we have a lot of our families members that are coming from literally all over the world. And right now, travel isn't really happening, and we don't know how long that's going to continue. So, again, no firm decision is made on those things, but please understand that we are going to do everything we can, even if it's not according to the date that we had in the calendar originally. We're going to see what we can do, particularly about graduation, to make that happen, as long as we can keep everybody safe, because that's just too important a celebration uh, for everybody. So we'll work on that. Some questions here about remaining funds in my school bucks. So I believe this is, you can request refunds through Quest, the food service company. We don't yet have a streamlined system for that, for out of school for a long time, but we're working on it. It's on the list of things we know that we need to do, and we'll push that information out. I think there was a question here, which was a fantastic suggestion. Thank you so much, about maybe requesting, if you were going to get a refund on your My School Bucks, if that money could be redirected to that donation fund that the district has established. That's a great question, and we will find out. Um, golly. Checking a different set of notes. Tell you what, this would be a great time. If you still have a question about something that I haven't already talked at length about, why don't you type it into the chat, and let me just real quickly review. I think there was a question from one of our parents that I got maybe yesterday or maybe this morning, indicating that their high school student is helping take care of little brothers and sisters. Is it possible maybe to be a little flexible for any work for the deadline, the time, or the due date, for teachers, if we can be flexible? And the answer is yes. But to do that, again, try to be proactive. You know what the situation is. Let your teachers know ahead of time. And again, don't use it as an excuse to just kind of put things off. But anybody is going to try to be flexible to help you do for your family and your loved ones what you need to do, and also to be successful in school. And if you have, another point there, if you have a question, you need a little additional assistance, your school counselor is always a great person to reach out to, in addition to your teachers. Okay. I think there was a question about schedule is going to be more consistent as the teachers develop a plan. Absolutely, it will. I mean, really, today, we kind of consider the block days. This was the first day that we met our even period classes. So I'm pretty confident that is going to continue to get better and better um, very quickly as we move forward these next few days. Again, for anybody who's logged in a little bit late, talking again about the e-learning schedule. Classes are asynchronous, so I think once we get past these first few days meetings, a lot of your work is going to be able to be done on your time as it's the best time for you, based on your schedule. We know sometimes you're sharing internet resources or the Wi-Fi stream is pretty weak when you've got multiple people and around using the Wi-Fi, especially with conferences and things. So I think that it will become more predictable as we go through. And I talked about end of the year activities, working in if there's any way to kind of see if we can do something in the summer, if that's advisable by the CDC. That's certainly an option that we are considering, and we'll let you know as we are able. Question about days canceled, act of God days, end of the school year. Everything that I am hearing, that I understand, I don't believe that there's any way that we are going to lengthen the school year beyond where it would traditionally have ended in late May. Now, again, the you know something could come across someplace, but I think that is very, very unlikely, and I really wouldn't be too worried about that prospect right now. Then again, as we know more about what the rest of the school year looks like, we'll be talking with you about that. Some people just asking when is school going to reopen? We just don't know. I would love to be able to give you a date, and I'd really be looking forward to being in the building and seeing y'all and giving you a high five and a smile. But we just don't know yet. Construction. Some people had asked. So over spring break, we had some contractors, so not District 207 employees, but they're the people we're hiring to do this big construction project. They were doing the first phase at Maine East, doing some asbestos abatement. That work has been completed, and they're done with that phase. Right now, construction is considered to be an essential service. So, to the extent that our contractors are able, yes, we will continue with construction, and we'll see how that moves forward. Hopefully, in the next week or two, as we get e-learning up and a little bit more routine. Administratively, we are really going to be turning our focus again on preparing for next school year, because we know we're going to be opening our doors in all of our buildings, and we're going to be greeting our kids back, and we're going to have our athletics and our fine arts and our clubs and our extracurriculars are going to meet again. So we need to plan for that. We've got that going, and along with that will be more detailed planning about construction and what that looks like, because that's really exciting. That's going to be just an amazing thing for Maine East and for all of our high schools. The other question, there was something about summer school. And again, right now, the plan is, yes, we'll have summer school. However, we don't know how that may be affected, again, based on how the next few weeks roll out and what the CDC guidelines are. But again, as soon as we definitively know that something has been canceled or postponed, we will communicate that to you. Again, that'll be Mr. Clark, who is signed on to the chat as Maine Township High School District 207. And we're going to get that information out to you. I know people want to know, and we would love to be able to give you a definite answer. But so many things continue to change on an almost daily basis. We're not able to do that. So again, I'm not seeing a lot of additional chats here. I really want to thank everybody for sticking with me on this. And again, I really want to encourage all of you to do everything you can to stay healthy. If you're not feeling so well, take super good care of yourself to get healthy again. If you need help, please don't hesitate to reach out to anybody at Maine East that you feel like you're comfortable doing. Please feel like you can reach out to me, your counselor. We're going to do anything and everything we possibly can to help you and to assist you and help you be well to do well. We miss you. Can't begin to tell you how much we all miss you. I think the staff not only miss our kids, we miss each other. All of us have been in school for a lot of our lives, and it's just the way we do our thing. And we really hope that we get back to normal really soon. I'm probably going to do these sessions, at least once, maybe twice a week as we have more information. It'll be posted to the website. Maybe we'll be able to edit it down a little bit so it's a little more concise, and I'll work to be more concise in the future. Also, if you are not following us on Instagram or Twitter, but especially on Instagram, it's MEHS207. And we're going to try to utilize some Insta Live sessions and things to kind of check in with you in the mornings as we go. I think in the next few days, we've got some plans for sort of a virtual spirit week that we're looking forward to rolling out. I think that'll be fun for people and kind of help us lighten the mood a little bit. So keep on keeping on, and look forward to talking to you the next time.